Okay, so let's get started on some melodic ideas for this track. First thing you want to do is set up a bus track as well. For this, similar to how I did the drums bus here, you're going to want to set up a melody bus track. So let's go over what I did with my template and my bus routing here, and I'll explain how it's kind of set up. So first, I have the melody track. Now the melody track is set up with a compressor that's set to sidechain from the vocals. And the reason why I do this is because it just allows for a quick fix for when the vocals aren't really cutting through in the mix. I can easily just sidechain it to the entire melody section. And it's just a quick way to, based on this threshold setting, to allow the vocals to cut in real nicely with the melodic section of the song. So it'll just duck out all of the melodic elements of the track whenever the vocals come in. So it's not, I don't really want a pumping breathing effect. I'm going more for just dynamics so that I can hear the enunciation of the words in the lyrics. And sometimes you get a little bit of drowning in the vocals when you have a bunch of like chord stacks going and then leads on top of that. So it's just a really easy way to have the vocals help to cut through in the mix. So on the synths rack here, I have a lead rack, which is a processing rack that I use on all my leads, especially for electronic music. It splits the signal into mid and side, and then I add some OTT and then a little reverb on it, and then I have it sidechain into itself. And when I get into the processing, once we have the idea going, you'll understand why I do this more, because I can show you an example once you hear a signal going through it. And then it is routed to be sidechained to the kick, and then I usually have one other one that's set to the snare, but since we have no snare in this track, I will not need it. And then on a similar level, I have the same thing set up for instruments. So one's routed to the kick, and then the other one is not needed. Now, the difference obviously is this is more for your synths and your electronic leads and whatnot, your plucks. This is where I like to just separate it out, where I would have my pianos, my strings, anything organic of an acoustic instrument, basically. And then I have my bass section here with a MIDI track and then an audio track in case I'm going to use a audio sample. And then I have my subsection here where I have a MIDI and audio set up exactly the same way. And you'll notice that I have everything rolled off at about 70 hertz for my mid-range bass, which is going to go in here. And then the sub obviously has all of the frequency space. So there's no conflict in the low end basically there. So yeah, it's mine's a little more, not so much complicated, but I like to, have a big old nice melody section. You can set up your template the way you want, your busing the way you want, but this is the more cohesive method that I like to use, and it works out pretty good so far for me.